we all need each other. I think that ultimately we all need our moms too. As hard as it is, we all need our moms.
Hello everyone, today we are going to be talking about Sister Wives Season 18, Episode 13. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it. This show starts out with a big gender reveal over Zoom. You know, in the last episode, we saw Mykelti and Tony telling everyone that they were expecting twins. In this episode, we're finding out the gender. So they go over Zoom and a lot of the family was there. I didn't actually check and see if it was everyone, but there was a lot of people from the Brown family, you know, getting together over Zoom. And that includes Kody, Robin, Gabe, and Garrison, as well as everyone else. Now, when it came to them all getting together for this gender reveal Zoom meeting, Christine was a bit nervous about how this was going to go, even though it was just a video call. And she wasn't the only one concerned about it. So was Kody. He was also worried as well because, you know, a lot of his kids don't like him that well right now. So he was nervous about it. He said his plan on getting through the experience was just focusing on Mykelti and Tony. And Robin also had something to say about this. Robin hoped that this might be a step in the right direction. She hoped that this might help the kids see that they are really supportive of them.
Them seeing Kody and I and our smiles and our encouragement will help them to realize that I'm not the bad guy.
I know that a lot of us have issues with Robin for one thing or another, or maybe all the things, you know, maybe you really just don't like Robin at all. But I do think that she might be right about this. Sometimes it's not like the big steps, it's the baby steps that get you to where you need to go. And I just wonder if all of them being there through this video call might be a step in the right direction for reconciliation with the kids and Kody. And I don't think it's going to happen all at once. I don't think this was the one thing that's going to save the day, but I wonder if it's a step in that direction for them. Now, during this time, we also see Aurora and Brianna. They are on there, and Aurora says that her mom has always encouraged healthy relationships and communication between the kids and Kody, even if everyone else doesn't see that. She is there to defend her mom. I do think it's interesting that we're seeing more of them. I just don't know if it's sometimes I feel like even young adults being on reality shows can have consequences that aren't good. Maybe not right now, but I wonder in the future if they're gonna that they went on there to defend their parents, which is kind of what I feel is happening. I feel like we're seeing more of Aurora and Brianna to show that Kody and Robin are good parents and are, you know, they have healthy relationships. But Aurora and Brianna don't ever seem to be that happy. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I don't even know if what I'm saying makes sense. I just wonder in the long run how Aurora and Brianna are going to feel about this. Once everyone has arrived for the video call, they finally do the gender reveal, and we find out that Mykelti and Tony are expecting 2 baby boys, and everyone is just thrilled. So you're seeing all this happiness, but you know, you're getting those confessionals from the wives and Kody, and during this part of the show, Janelle makes a really good point. She says Kody doesn't even have much contact with most of the people that are on the video call. Which is true. He has actually messed up relationships with almost every person that is in his family, which explains why he was so nervous to actually join the video call and be on it with Gabe and Garrison and Christine and Janelle. He's messed up relationships with just about his entire family. I do want to throw in this clip of Mykelti and Tony talking about the Brown family and what Mykelti would like to have happen for them.
Absolutely amazing and a dream if my family could completely reconcile and all of us could go back to being one unified family.
I am really hoping that Mykelti just means her siblings, but I don't know, because when I think back to when Christine left and Mykelti insisted on everyone coming together to say goodbye when it wasn't a good idea, and it wasn't, in my opinion, good for Christine, it just makes me wonder what Mykelti meant by that. You know, there has to be a point that she understands that there are some relationships that are not healthy and people need to separate and keep distance. I don't see Christine ever saying that Kody is family, in a sense that she's going to want to go and get around him and spend time with him again. I just don't see that happening. I don't know. I don't know if she's just that naive, or if she doesn't realize how badly her mother was treated and how sad her mom was. I don't get it. I feel like she should. She's old enough to understand. She's not a child. I'm hoping she just meant her siblings. During this part of the show, though, Christine says in a confessional, and it's not really too long after Mykelti said that she has no interest in getting back together. And when she does, at best, she'll just be cordial. So she's not going to be like, they're not going to be a family again. I don't think these mothers feel like they need to have relationships with each other. So Mykelti needs to let go of this dream. And I do want to point something out. She wants her mom to go back around her father, yet she doesn't go around Meri. During this part of the show, Mykelti says, all the kids need the mothers. Well, then why isn't Mykelti trying to work on things with Meri? Why does Christine need to try to work on things with Kody so that they can all pretend to be this new version of a family? I don't know, guys. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. This is one of those things where I feel like I'm saying all of this and then the comment section is going to be like, no, it's like this. And sometimes I'll read comments and it will completely change my opinion. So I'm going to have to wait and see when it comes to Mykelti. Mykelti and Christine are not the only ones that are talking about the future of the family. So is Kody. And during this part of the show, he makes the point of saying that his kids want a relationship with him without Robyn, and that is not going to happen. He says that him and Robyn won't be separated. It didn't really surprise me that he said that. I'm sure it didn't surprise any of you guys, but I didn't want to leave that part out. Now, during this gender reveal call, there is someone from the family missing, and that is Meri. She wasn't invited. And Christine explains why.
She's not comfortable with everybody in the family. She won't be on any other things for Mykelti and her children.
So there we hear it. Meri is not going to be around Mykelti or her children, yet she wants Christine to find a way to reconcile and be a family with Kody and Robyn. Does that include Meri? Like, in Mykelti's mind, is Meri allowed to be a part of that family? And I know we have heard very negative things about Meri. There's no denying it. Every person in this family has almost said something negative. But there's a lot of things negative to say about people in this family and the way they've behaved. And Mykelti obviously feels like Meri's behavior was serious enough to warrant removing her from her life. But you know what? She should kind of see that her siblings feel the same way about Robyn and Kody and be a bit more understanding about that. Again, if you can explain Mykelti to me and make it make real sense, do it in the comments, because I would love to understand that more. After this, the show moves over to Meri in Utah, and we see her in the carriage house. She shows how it's being renovated. It's still at that demo time where the walls are coming down and stuff. So there's no really big updates, but she is super excited to see the changes. And during this time, she talks about that anniversary dinner where Kody made it clear he did not want to have a relationship or marriage with her anymore. And she says that before Kody had that moment with her, she felt like there was a possibility, but now she feels like he has placed the ball in her court. Like, it's all on her now. Is she going to stick around, or is she just going to accept this and go? I'm going to put in a clip here of Meri talking about her marriage.
How much is this eternal covenant worth to me? But then I also think, but really, has he already broken the covenant? So what covenant is there?
Meri is just at that place where she is going to have to make a serious life change, and that's difficult. I get a little impatient as a viewer of the show. I know that's not fair. She needs all the time that she needs. She needs to take it and make sure she's making the best choice for her, but TLC really drags this out, and I wish we could see what the future holds. I want to see how it unfolds, but she is just going to have to take the time she needs for that. The show moves us back over to Christine's house, and we find out that Isabel is going to be leaving. I believe she was there for this summer. I don't remember them explicitly saying why she was home, but I'm under the impression the school year is about to begin again. So she is headed back to North Carolina. Christine decides to plan a really special dinner for her. It's all surf and turf. And while they're all there sitting around the table, they talk about if Isabel will ever make the decision to move back to Utah. And she says one day she probably will because her family is there. And I have to be honest with you guys, I just thought it was so freaking sweet. Like, it was so sweet. And I bet it made Christine feel so good. I think that's what Christine always wanted. She always wanted her family all together, and to hear her daughter say, yeah, I'm going to come back and this is where everyone is. And have you guys noticed, and I wonder if they're doing it a little bit for the show, but it doesn't matter. I don't care if they're doing it for the show or not. Now we see Christine with her children and they're just doing so much. Like, we saw the Valentine's party. We saw her birthday party. They're getting together for dinners. Like, Truly's riding her bike. I just feel so good about it. And I hope that's really what it is. I know sometimes things are scripted for the show, but I hope she is really getting that. I hope when the cameras are not rolling, when it's just her and her family, I hope they're really spending that much time together and she's really getting all of that support, because she looks so happy and it just feels like she's getting what she wanted. At the dinner, Tony also brings up Christine dating. Christine says he has a way of always bringing it up. And you know what? Good for him. I think he realizes that she's going to need a little nudging and a little support and encouragement. Maybe her own kids are not comfortable doing it, but Tony is. And you know what? I know sometimes people don't like Tony. He can be a bit polarizing, but I like that he's doing this for her, and he does it in a way that's very playful and kind. So I just like this. He actually has a plan. He says that she should make a profile online, use a nickname so that no one knows it's like Christine from Sister Wives, and, you know, try online dating that way. And Mitch makes a joke that it should be on farmers only. So I think, you know what, the son-in-laws are encouraging it and having a bit of fun. I just thought it was nice. Now, Christine says she's not really, you know, ready to jump into anything, but she is ready to start dating. After the dinner scene, we find out that Christine and Janelle are going to head out on a road trip. They're going to Christine's brother's house. They're going out there to ride ATVs and to spend some time together. Now we see them get ready. They get in the car and they're heading down the road. And Christine brings up that one time that Robin said that Christine had to go through the church to get an approval for the divorce. Do you guys remember that? I can't remember if it was like during a tell-all. I think she brought it up during a tell-all. Robin did. And then she brought it up. Also, I think she might have mentioned it during the famous porch scene where like Kody flipped out on everybody. Yeah, so Robin said that Christine needed to go through the church to get an approval for the divorce. And Christine says to Janelle, do you remember that? Because is anyone practicing that faith anymore? You know, Christine no longer practices the faith they used to, and she believed no one else in the family was as well. So what is Robin talking about? Like, why is Robin bringing up something that they're no longer doing? Janelle responds by basically saying that Robin was probably just so shocked that Christine was leaving that the response came from that. Did any of you guys feel like Christine was bringing that up on purpose just to point out to Janelle, like, we haven't followed that faith in a long time. Why is everyone suddenly worried about doing it again? I feel like she wanted to bring it up without pointing it out to Janelle directly. That's what I think. So let me know if you guys thought that in the comments. As they're riding along on the road trip, they talk about a lot of things. I'm definitely not going to be able to cover them all, but one thing that stood out to me is that Janelle told Christine that she isn't really sure she is married anymore. She said it's been 10 months since Kody has been to her house. 10 months. That's like a full year, guys. That's a really long time to not see your spouse that lives in the same town as you do. So they're not seeing each other. And then the show flips over to Kody. So we see a little bit of them driving on the road trip, and then we flip over to Kody. He's at Coyote Pass with his friend Brian, and he is selling his cars to his friend. And I really don't have much to say about Brian and the cars, except I will say during this part of the show, Kody was really happy. He was smiling. He was being friendly. He's happy. He's happy again. It seems weird because for so long, there were so many episodes where I was talking about them and being like, he's angry. Cody's angry again. And here we're seeing him be happy. So he either he's having a good day or he is now coming back around to being a happier person. Now, during this part, he's getting rid of cars, which doesn't mean a whole lot to most of us, but but he did get rid of the white sports car that we saw in the very first episode. We've seen him drive it a lot through the years, but I always think back to that first episode of him riding in the car, talking about being a polygamist. He is finally selling it. And I'm going to put in a clip here, you guys, of Robin talking about, her time with the car.
About Kody and the white sports car, too. I felt God talking to me. There's a lot of fun stuff that happened in that white sports car.
I'm not sure what she means by fun stuff, but I seriously never want to hear her say it like that again. Kody ends up talking a bit about where his own life is now. He says he's living as a monogamist. He says he hasn't been to Janelle's house in 10 months. He hasn't been to see Meri or hasn't seen her because she's mostly in Utah. He's just living his life with Robin. So even though everything's not official yet, he's saying he's like a monogamist. He looks like a much happier person than he used to be. The show ends up jumping back to Christine and Janelle on their road trip, and Janelle clarifies at this point that Kody has been over to her home. So she has seen him, but he's not staying. So when she's saying she hasn't seen him in 10 months, I'm guessing that she's talking about him staying for like overnights or like significant time. She also says in this part of the show that Kody hasn't seen Savannah in a month. So yeah, there's that. He's not that changed. In the last episode, he almost had me fooled. When he went over there and he like came in and he hugged Savannah. I thought, okay, maybe they're spending more time together and reconnecting, but he hasn't seen her in a month. And they live in the same town. It absolutely blows my mind, you guys. I don't understand it. So I just want to give you guys a heads up as I go to finish this recap of the episode. There's no way I can cover everything they said. And a lot of this is them talking. Like a lot of it is just things they're saying back and forth. And I think some of it, most of us already know. Of course, if I missed something you thought was really important or something really stood out to you, feel free to leave that down in the comments. Now, back to the episode. Janelle, there's a part of the show where they talk about the marriage with Kody and how it started with Janelle and him. And they also talk about where Janelle is now. She doesn't want to date. She's not interested in dating. She likes her life as it is. And she's also not interested in reconciling with Kody. She actually says at one point, she just does not want him to come back. And then they bring up Robin. They talk about the traditions they had before Robin entered the family, the things they used to do, and how it felt like they were like a family unit. And then there was Robin, and how Kody went over to Robin's and did things with her separate. You know what? I think at this point we all know that is exactly how the issue started. They had problems. They had serious problems in their marriages with Kody. But then Robin entered, and there was somewhere I feel like Kody could go to escape. So he didn't have to focus on the 3 wives that he had at home. And that created a whole new layer to all of the problems. But they actually talk about it there when they're driving to Christine's brother's. And then they actually make it to the brother's house. And they show them out on ATVs. And it looks like they are just having a great time. I think it was a nice way for them to spend some quiet time together without the kids. Maybe overhearing some conversations they didn't want to share with them. It was just fun. I liked it. After they rode the ATVs, they end up showing a dinner scene, or I shouldn't say it was dinner. It looks like it might have been actually breakfast. It looked like a very light meal. But it's Levi and Steve, which are Christine's brothers. I believe Levi's wife, and then Christine and Janelle. They all sit down for a meal together. And Christine and her brothers talk about what it was like growing up in polygamy. Her brother says that there was like a lot of tension in the house. You could just feel it. But Christine said she never noticed. She loved it, and she felt like their house was always a party. And that explains Christine. Christine tries to be positive, tries to look on the bright side. She wasn't picking up on what was going on, where the brother was able to see that it just wasn't working. And the brothers do not practice polygamy, so they did not go down that road, while Christine, saw the positives of it. During this part of the show, Janelle and Christine talk about the years before Robin, and they all live together in a 3-bedroom trailer. Janelle says it was miserable. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I 100% believe her. I cannot imagine Meri, Janelle, and Christine and Kody in a 3-bedroom trailer. It sounds miserable. 100% don't even need details. But while they're all sitting around the table talking, Janelle brings up how different things would be if all of the wives were legal wives. So if everyone was legally married to Kody. Now, she doesn't say Kody specifically. She's just talking about in plural marriages in general. But she brings up a good point. If they were all legally married to the man they were with, they would all get support. They would all get alimony. They would all get the assets if they leave. And that would really change things, wouldn't it? Really keep those husbands in line, doing what they need to do and trying to keep their marriages working. You know, it's easy for a husband to just ghost a wife. Janelle ends up talking about her own finances, which I feel like is sort of the elephant in the room. I feel like she doesn't really want to talk about it and maybe be as assertive as she could be. I feel like she's holding back a little, but like we all know it's there and we all know what's happening. She is supposed to have that property out in Coyote Pass. It's not paid off, so she has nothing. Nothing is hers. And they do a confessional where she talks about it. She doesn't say anything new, but then they throw in someone else. They throw in Meri, who hasn't had a lot to say about this at all. So I'm going to put the clip in here so you guys can see it.
Even with the conflict that we have in the family right now, I still believe that it's going to be divided up equally and fairly between the 4 of us.
I hope Meri's right. They all deserve the property that they were promised. I hope they all get it. I just don't know if I believe it will happen. There's a part of me that really thinks Kody is holding out on doing anything there because he wants all those wives gone so he can end up having that property to himself with his favorite wife and his favorite children. But you know what? I could be wrong. I definitely want to know what you guys think about that. So be sure to leave comments. And the show kind of wraps up there at the end with Christine just saying it. She just says exactly how I feel about Janelle and staying with Kody right now. So I'm going to go ahead and put the clip in here.
One of the reasons she's still with Kody is because of this, because she has nothing in her name.
And that is it, you guys. That was it for this episode. This was not one of my favorite episodes. I feel like there was a lot of just stuff we already know, like happening again and again. Same conversations. I feel like I'm sort of waiting for something to really happen. So I don't know. It's just TLC is good at dragging stuff along. That's where we're at right now. But let me know what you guys thought in the comments. If you haven't already and you feel like it, please click like and subscribe. I hope you come back to Happily Ever Reality.